Hello, everyone. My name is Gigi Coleman. I am the great niece of Bessie Coleman. Aunt Bessie was my grandmother's sister. Aunt Bessie was the 10th, my granny was the 13th, and her name was Georgia Coleman. And so my mother basically was raised by Bessie, my mother Marion Coleman, and she always wanted Aunt Bessie to be known. She wanted people to know who she was. And Aunt Bessie was the first African-American, Native American woman to get her international pilot license in the world. 2 years, as Yolanda always says, before Amelia Earhart. So it's just so inspiring, to let people know. And so I talked with Beth, and I said, Beth, I want to write a book about my great aunt. And so Beth said, well, why don't we work together? I said, a perfect idea. And then we did the book called Queen of the Skies. And after that, we said, well, why don't we do a documentary? I said, great. And I would like all the monarch of my family, Vera Jean and all the other monarchs, to talk about their experience and how they felt growing up about Aunt Bessie. And so we came up with the documentary. To keep the legacy going, I started an aviation program called the Bessie Coleman Aviation All-Stars in Chicago. And now we've just been going everywhere. We have a program in Oklahoma. And in September, we're going to have a program in Jacksonville, Florida at the Bessie Coleman School. And also I started doing, portraying my great aunt. So I dress in character and I become Aunt Bessie. And we just want to inspire our youth to think about these various careers, because the main objective is we do a little history, we talk about careers, we take them on field trips, they actually get to meet aviation professionals like Captain Beth Powell.
And so you can see when Dr. Sheila Chamberlain came to say, help the family elevate, Gigi was doing her own work already, from literally taking on her mom's legacy of sharing the Bessie Coleman story. And so with that being said, we figured how else could we elevate this story? So like Gigi mentioned, she always wants a book, and we were writing a script for a movie, and we said, okay, let's do this together. And then the Discovering Bessie Coleman story is when we were writing the character for Bessie Coleman and listening to the family. As Gigi said, she selected the monarch of the family. Just listening to the family, I was like, stop, pause, let's get a recording crew. We need the world to hear from the family. And so that's how Discovering Bessie Coleman was aired. And we're so happy that it was premiered at SM Film Festival today with you all. Essence highlight Black excellence, Black woman. And literally when you say those words, how can you not say that without Bessie Coleman? So Bessie Coleman's story was very near and dear to my heart. As a Black woman pilot, there are less than 150 of us today in the United States of America. That's not even a percentage of the number of pilots out there. And so to help to share her story, channeling Bessie Coleman, I learned so much more about her beyond her being the first Black woman and Native American pilot in the world. Bessie Coleman, it's one thing she didn't take no for an answer, but she literally faced fear with courage. She took a risk that paid off, and it paved the way for so many to follow. So many like Cornelius Coffey, Willa Brown, Janet Braggs, eventually all trained the Tuskegee Airmen today. Just think about the 1920s for a second, Jim Crow era. Segregated but equal, that doesn't even go in one sentence. Bessie Coleman emerged from that era. She had to learn French, another language, and then moved to France to learn to fly. Flying itself is another language. That took courage, that took persistence, and that took a lot of strength and mental ability. And what I love about that, when you think about Bessie Coleman's story, it's the mindset that I want people to focus on. She didn't let her circumstances held her down. Instead, she looked for ways around the obstacles she faced so that she could become. All of us have a little Bessie Coleman into us if we tap in deep. And that's why in sharing her story, the timeless principle of who she was, how she navigated, put education before anything else, and she soared, is what I'm happy to share with the family member today.
It makes me feel wonderful to know that Beth Powell and other pilots like herself honor my great aunt, and that basically like Mae Jameson, she took Aunt Bessie's picture with her up to the moon. And because she said she was her hero, it makes me feel so honored to be a part of this aviation world, and to know that even back when I was little, I probably couldn't get involved in aviation because of the circumstances. But now everyone can be involved in aviation
Absolutely.
and soar the sky.